And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 251. Today is Wednesday, September 19th, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zate, and we are here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
10-ish.
Even with a nasally voice.
There we go.
Being under the weather. It's all
Fight.
good, though.
Fight.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Got to do it.
What's going on, Tessa, The Game I Peep, Crypto Q, Sergeant Crypto, New Legacy, John Siebert. What's going on? Sergeant Crypto said they didn't get their Satoshis. What day was that from Sergeant Crypto? Yeah. So we can make sure. Yeah, we were behind
I just
from
sent them all out from the list I had, but yeah, we could have missed it. Yeah,
and then we never actually announced one too that one day a week ago. So yeah, we'll catch up. Let us know, Sergeant Crypto, and we'll actually we'll make sure we caught up with everybody. Yeah, for those who are listening, we didn't send your Satoshis yet. Reach out to us, but we know we got a few people yesterday, so let us know. Other than that, for the free Satoshis today, who's the winner?
Well, the winner is Tony Nolly. Thank you for your comment in response to our question. Yesterday was National Burger Day. Hope you had a good burger. We were asking, what is your favorite burger spot? Personally, mine is Shake Shack.
I'm with you.
But one of the most underrated ones I actually forgot about, called The Counter. It's actually out here in Culver City. Have you eaten there yet?
Yeah. Okay, I haven't eaten there. The
reviews as far as being underrated, I've actually had it. It's actually really good.
Okay, I gotta try it. It's like
Shake Shack.
It's like 4 of them out here.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of people put Five Guys. Five Guys is bomb. Especially they give you basically all the fries you can eat in your life.
Right. You will get filled up from this meal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of good ones there. Someone put one from Pittsburgh. I've heard of. Haven't tried it myself. A lot of good comments. So hopefully you found a good burger on yesterday's National Burger Day.
I gotta try The Counter. I gotta try it. It was the one location that's like out here that I saw a bear review on, so I just figured it was all of them. So I'll try that. Yep.
So hopefully somebody selling burgers for Bitcoin one day.
There we go.
We'll be up in there.
All right. Well, appreciate that comment, Tony Nolly, as well as everybody else's. Again, it was a bunch of Five Guys. Yes, Crypto Q. I was addicted to Five Guys too until I came to California.
Oh yeah.
Where In-N-Out took over, and then Bitcoins actually put me on Shake Shack, and it was over after that.
Yeah, Shake Shack.
I see how they blew up. All right. Enough with the fun stuff. Now it's time to get into the real interesting stuff, and that is the top story of the day, which is the New York Attorney General report says crypto exchanges are at risk of manipulation.
Oh, you don't say.
Right? And as the first comment said, in other news, water is wet, one of the commenters said it. Before we get into the story, let's remind you, this new New York Attorney General is a new person in here. We even said about, when the last one, Eric Schneiderman got caught for his alleged sexual assault or whatever he was doing, and basically resigned. We said the day he resigned, give it about 6 weeks, give it a few weeks, a month and a half, before the new person comes in and tries to do the same thing they were doing. And here we see it.
Here we are.
They're picking up where they left off with that report. If you remember, back in April, they launched a huge report and initiative with like 13 different exchanges where they wanted to know how you operate as a business. And that report has come full circle. It looks like now the New York Attorney General office on September 18th says that cryptocurrency exchanges are vulnerable to manipulation, conflicts of interest, and other consumer risks. The report represents the results of the Virtual Markets Integrity Initiative launched in April when disgraced New York Attorney General Eric T. Schneiderman sent letters to 13 crypto exchanges requesting information on their operations, internal controls, and other key issues. First of all, the fact that they say cryptocurrency exchanges are vulnerable to manipulation, conflicts of interest, and other consumer risks. Didn't we just claim to have our election hacked?
Yeah.
Like the United States political election was hacked. Yeah. So it sounds like everything, like you said, down the chain is like everything is vulnerable to manipulation, conflicts of interest, and other consumer risks. So I'm not understanding why they released this report.
Have you watch Billions?
Right. I mean, well, not only that, you look at the traditional stock market, and that's what some of the commenters at this article they are saying. They're talking about the traditional market with insider trading, banks that manipulate the precious metal prices. Of course, somebody else put government in here, crypto. So I mean, again, you wasted taxpayer money to do this report to tell us something we already knew.
Oh yeah, and if you look at traditional markets, there are companies that pay millions of dollars for algorithmic trading bots that they use on a daily basis. These people are not hand trading most of these trades. They have mathematical ways to figure out how they want to trade, how they want to make their profits. They have their strategies built into these bots. And like I said, they pay millions for it, and they trade, which can be considered manipulation simply because they can suppress the price or they can use their liquidity to push a bull run. But it's more liquidity in those markets, so you don't see as big of a push. In the crypto markets, it's way less volume and there's way less money into it, so you can see that push. When they say stuff like automated trading activities, bots could also allow a single trader or a group of traders to command multiple accounts simultaneously to obscure coordinated trading in order to manipulate prices. We say, yes, we understand this happens.
Have you seen The Wolf of Wall Street? We saw it then.
Yeah, we understand this already. This is one of the things where they are telling the truth, but they're not telling the whole truth.
Right.
They're basically saying, yeah, look at crypto market, look at how this is happening to them. Don't look over here,
Right. Don't look at the rest of the markets or our political system or anything else. Construction in big cities. I mean, come on, this is New York. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive into New York construction and see who actually runs it. I'm not going to get too detailed because, hey, I don't want no problems with the boys over there, but everything's being manipulated. It's also found in this article, the study found that the absence of accepted methods for auditing virtual assets results in a lack of a consistent and transparent approach to independently auditing digital currency trade on exchanges. This puts customer funds held on their exchange accounts at risk of attacks from hackers or theft. First of all, yes, that is the feature. We don't want you to be able to audit and track every little thing in cryptocurrency, which is why it was made to begin with.
Yeah.
So that is a feature. And secondly, yes, we've said from day one, we told many people, you don't leave your money on exchanges. There's not a lot of it. Mt. Gox was the biggest lesson.
Yeah.
And even now, I would say even now, it's like exit scam left and right. So again, why did we have to use our taxpayer money on this report? I'm not understanding this right now.
I guess he had to put out something just to say that they were working on it. So they did, and this is what they came up with. So
again, interesting article. I guess they said this is for some of the newer investors or the average investors. Again, if you're an average investor, you don't know these things, then you should probably dial down the amount you're investing.
Oh, yeah,
tell you that
absolutely.
Now. But that also brings us to our next article. 20% of Coinbase trades are made by the cryptocurrency exchange itself.
Hey, let's give that a hand clap.
Right.
We've known this for so long. At this point, this article is old news to some of our warriors.
Right, yeah. For our warriors who've been here for a while, we say it every time. We check the receipts. We've been saying this since we began. In this article, we'll go more detail. It isn't just Coinbase, but you remember how we always say that these big companies or these big institutions are going to buy these exchanges and be caught holding the bag. This is what we're referring to. We are saying that a lot of the volume on the exchange is not real. And going back even further, if you remember some of our grievances with Coinbase, how they shut down our accounts, we've told so many people, it's like, hey, after you start trading a certain amount of money, certain amount of Bitcoins and crypto on Coinbase, they would just shut your account down and would not give you a reason. They'll tell you you're allowed to withdraw your money and that's it.
Yep.
And that is the reason why. Yep. Because they cannot afford for big fish or bigger fish to be on their exchange trading when they literally don't have the volume or liquidity for you to be there.
Oh, yeah. And if they're on the other side of 20% of the trades, this is, like we said, regular. But I'd be interested to see what percentage is actually there, because I don't think that's.
I think it's higher.
I think it's higher.
If they told you 20%, let's say 40. We got to go 40. So you're talking about almost half a trade.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit.
Yeah,
with
we're going to volunteer 20%. That's going to be the correct number.
Yeah, and then
what multi-billion-dollar business is going to do that? I'd rather just give you a lie and take the fine.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So if we're going to give a lie and take a fine again, at least half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was
60%. Yeah. So some of the other big ones that were found, they platform trade, they actually proprietary trade. Basically the other side of trades that you see: Bitfinex, Bitflyer,
right.
Coinbase, of course. Poloniex, which Circle actually says they only do 1% of the proprietary trading. But
lies.
Yeah, like I said, come on, man. Tidex, which is a smaller exchange, but it is interesting to see the ones that don't. Right. Bitstamp is one.
I kind of figured they actually didn't, though. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
And sometimes you can see it with the mark price too. Their price doesn't go insane levels above. It's usually one of the lowest. Bittrex,
not yet.
Another one. Yeah, not yet.
They're on their way down the drain, though.
Oh yeah, Gemini, which I think Gemini
I believe them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're really big on just bringing in as much money as possible.
They talking about real money. They're not trying to go to mom and pop or none of that.
Absolutely,
they want the real paper.
And would not disclose. They only put itbit, but if you
remember,
if you remember, Kraken actually didn't even go through with the
as well as Binance
as well. Yeah, they was like, we're not going through none of this. You can get out of our face with that email. So Binance as well. That's why I shout out CZ from that standpoint. But
now here's the flip of this. What's messed up? The ones that didn't even get listed, of course, as Bitcoins they said, was Binance and what was the other one you just said? The ones Kraken.
Yep.
They're also now. I don't think they were receiving an official subpoena, but now they're under a suspicion from the New York Attorney General that basically they're trading illegally in New York because they wouldn't provide this. You see how this works? It was a optional, or as we used to say in sports, optional mandatory. It was an optional thing to do this report and to give them your information about how you do everything on your exchange, even though it's proprietary information. It was optional to give this to the government. And the two exchanges that decided not to give anything to the government, they decided, well, we think you're breaking the law. We're going to criminalize you now. That is gang, people.
Oh, yeah. That's what we
that's gang.
They bossed up on it.
Right. And now for the ones that are actually doing the proprietary trading, i.e. faking their value, I mean, look at some of the names. These are some of the ones we mentioned. We've mentioned Bitfinex doing it already.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Poloniex many times, even when they bought, whoever it was that bought Poloniex, was it Circle that did it? Whoever bought Poloniex, when they bought them, we said they were buying a bag. Same with Coinbase. Again, we've said again. So you got 3 of the 5 on here that we have literally told people that volume is inflated. So again, it's not a surprise here, but I'm glad this article is coming out. But again, we need to kind of redirect and look at the government saying, well, why are you basically strong arming these exchanges now at this point?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I would encourage everybody to take a look at this report. We'll post the link before we get off here. But yeah, the virtual report by the New York Attorney General. Definitely read through a lot of good stuff in there, and these are some of the things we've stated before. If they had just straight crypto attorney generals, they should have hired us because we have way less resources and we figured this out a year ago.
Right. Yeah, that's what somebody said. How long did that take? Was it this year?
Yeah.
Gervais Wright said the VPN part of the report is wow. I haven't even taken a peek at it, but I can only imagine. I got to see what they're saying about the VPN report part of it. We'll check it out later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so again, interesting article. Make sure you check it out. And
that's why atomic swaps and decentralized exchanges. That's right. Paul Johnson actually said it. Yeah, decentralized exchanges, atomic swaps. That's why that technology will be big time. I can tell you that right now, especially going forward. If you can trade in
September 18.
Yeah, if you can trade in app and do all those things, that'll be huge for the space.
I tell you what,
to the essence.
I tell you what, I want to report. I want to report on what happened to Eric Schneiderman. What happened with that? He's just gonna sweep under the rug?
Yeah, you know,
they out here trying to pass laws while you sexually assaulting people on the side. Like, what's going on?
24-hour news cycle and then get it out of here.
I gotta read this. I want to see where the VPN thing is at. So I'll check it out later. All right, then. Next up, Binance reveals plan to launch crypto exchanges on almost every continent. Bam. You know, honestly, I'm assuming it's just like virtual exchanges setting up. You know, getting being, I guess, registered legally to do it or licensed to do it, but technically you can already do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can do it. I mean, you have to get the approval from different countries, whatever. Yeah. But he wants to make it fiat to crypto exchanges, which we haven't seen many of those. That's really the big part about it. And as we can see, like we keep telling you, CZ does not stop with his with his vision to basically expand all over the globe. He has the backing of Malta behind him. He has one of the best altcoin exchanges. So if he can produce fiat to crypto exchanges and have that liquidity, a lot of the trading will change because I have seen people describe it as the black swan event. People aren't expecting or wasn't expecting fiat to crypto exchanges to come for a while, but if they can actually onboard people and they can use fiat without stable coins, without that middle part of going through it, I think you'll see a lot more money flowing into it because that is one of the hardest parts of getting people into trading, telling them, well, first you got to buy Bitcoin. Then you got to buy the altcoin. Then you have to trade it back for Bitcoin, back to if you want to do the trading that way. So this basically cuts out the middleman of the middleman. We tried to do that before, but it gets rid of having to use Bitcoin. So that could be a black swan event where people are buying in straight fiat, and we could see a different type of altcoin market, I think.
And one thing I didn't even realize, he also talked, and this all happened during a fireside chat at CoinDesk's Consensus in Singapore. He discussed a bunch of things, many things, and he also talked about how his startup started with a $15 million initial coin offering to where it's at now, literally a year and a half later. So bravo, to turn 15 million to multiple billions in a year and a half.
Hey, man.
Fintech people.
A lot of people get 15 million and go broke.
Right.
ICOs.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
So, hey, shout out to them.
Need to holler at one of these athletes out here like, look, man, you don't even, give me 7 million. All right, turn this to 120 mil real quick.
Build an exchange.
There we go.
Don't be scared, and you'll make a billion.
Yeah, basically, right? Construction of Morocco's 36 megawatt Bitcoin mining farm to start in January 2019.
Word up.
Now, when I read this story, I would tell you people reminded me of James Bond, the movie. I can't remember which one. It was either, I'm not sure if it was Spectre. No, it wasn't Spectre. It was like one of the ones before that. But anyway, I'll tell you why in a moment. A Bitcoin mining company formed from a United States private equity firm plans to begin building a 36 megawatt farm in Morocco beginning in January of next year. Ars Technica reported yesterday, September 18. Looks like Soluna, the product of New York-based Brookstone Partners, intends to leverage local laws by eventually selling at least 20% of its electricity output back to the Moroccan government, which means that I can only imagine the taxpayers will be paying for this somehow or some way as well. Even the article calls it, again, the scheme. We've seen that in a couple of articles, but they say the scheme, known as a Power Purchasing Agreement, PPA, will enable the company to establish a foothold in the region with the possibility of expanding sales beyond the border in future years, CEO John Belizaire explained. So Morocco has a law in place that effectively guarantees a PPA for energy providers, he told the publication. So again, it looks like another country's taxpayers are paying for private companies building facility for a mining farm, and then they're going to sell it back to their own government, which they'll have to pay for again.
And this is important because this may become a trend.
Right.
You'll start to see private equity firms in the U.S. or abroad who go to countries where they have PPAs, which are power purchasing agreements, where if they produce a certain amount of electricity, they can sell it back to the government. That is an entire business within itself. And if you're mining Bitcoin while you're doing it, you can actually move those coins because you're a U.S. firm. You can move those coins on a U.S. exchange. Even though Morocco has formally outlawed cryptocurrency, they found a loophole. And that's usually the biggest plays in business is when you find some sort of loophole, go to another country and establish it. As they stated here, we will start from that and grow from here. They will, trust me. They'll get more than 20% at some point, I think. But they will have to switch around the laws. But this is huge to me because think about the companies that are finding places, smaller places to mine Bitcoin and use that electricity that you can sell it back to their governments. This is an industry that you can join right now, literally, if you have the money to do it, and you don't have the volatility that comes with it, because you know you're always getting paid by a government. So this is another, as we say, innovation in the space that we didn't see coming.
Right.
I mean, I saw it sort of because the energy you can use. You can get, points for it, or, green initiative, you can get some tax write-offs, but the fact that you can just sell it back to governments and you're using their property, hey man, this is a new day. I can tell you that.
And you know 2019. What? And it was Spectre. For those who are interested, it was 007 Spectre. I have it pulled up here. For those who never seen this movie, basically same thing happened. A private company came in and they try to buy up the country's water supply or control the country's water supply, the land surrounding the water supply, and sell it back to the government. So
like Nestle.
I feel like this is like evil. I know Nestle in Flint, Michigan, same thing
Nestle
again.
Trying to do it right now.
So this is one of those things. As you said, you're right. I can see this becoming the future of things, and it's because nobody's paying attention to it. Before they know it, they're going to realize they're paying a private company for their own electricity that they're actually paying them to operate to get that electricity for them. So,
dude,
madness.
Like I said, stunt. If you could do it, I mean, this is what they do.
This is where we're at.
Oh yeah, gotta get creative in this space, I guess.
Oh, good news in the Bitcoin community, people. It looks like again, Bitcoin hasn't funded any terror attacks in Europe. Europol report reveals. What is this Europol report talking about? This can't be true.
Oh man, well,
Bitcoin
I love
only for criminals.
I love the sub headline where it literally says Conventional banking funds terrorist operations, not Bitcoin.
What?
Like, that sentence should be plastered on every single news station right before they talk about the criminals who use Bitcoin.
Right.
It's still conventional banks that do it. I mean, they have to pass their money through there. They are very creative with how they do it. Have people in front, money line, whatever. But with Bitcoin, it hasn't been found simply because it's a lot easier to find people trying to move Bitcoin because we can see the money moving. If you're planning a terrorist attack,
right.
I mean, come on.
We're not going. You're going to see $10 million pop up and go to different addresses. I mean, you can check that out.
Yeah. So. And one of the things I don't really want to try and pronounce his name, but a guy Akbar from the Islamic News, he's basically said that solicited crypto funds, they only finance their online infrastructure and purchase hosting servers. Most of the campaigns that go on for terrorist operations are still funded with cash, and they're still the things they need to operate, guns and all these things are still bought with cash. So whereas Bitcoin comes in at this point, I don't know, but it's all FUD from this point. You got to stop believing these people when they say it's crypto is funding these criminals. No, man, some 20-year-old that bought weed off Silk Road back in the day with Bitcoin is not a terrorist organization, man. The real question is where are they getting the cash from, but we're not going to go there.
But yeah, not only that, for them to really, for a terrorist group or terrorist cell, whatever, to really use crypto, honestly, at this point, they would need to be mining it.
Yeah.
Because anything else, you'll be able to track it. Governments are clamping down on exchanges right now. A lot of new tech and over-the-counter trades, it takes time to develop, or it takes resources to know as far as your network. A lot of people don't know people where they can just go get $10 million over the counter. So, again, it's a good thing to see this report come out and say lies. Lies.
Oh, yeah. We got to get this. Because if you're new to crypto and you've read some of the quote-unquote bad news, it's literally just one of those things where they have to put out something. If you look at the news cycles, usually it was kind of dead, so they just threw out something. Oh, yeah, these criminals use Bitcoin for whatever. And then they don't read at the bottom where it says they got caught. Like almost every single time, they got caught at some point. So good to see there that we have some actual news that's coming out that states the truth.
But it's crazy. People can't even see the FUD or the twist, the evil twist, where it's just like, all of a sudden you're going to say Bitcoin funds terrorist activities. Whenever I hear that, I just ask them, like, well, what did it? Bitcoin's new. What has been funding terrorism and wars?
Let's look for that.
For the last century.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't, then you don't want to say the words out loud, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Got to have a scapegoat.
Hey, live in the matrix, whatever. Developer completes proof of life off-grid crypto transaction prime for post-apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, big story.
This is a
huge story for everyone who also says, well, it won't work without the internet or whatever. A developer known as Daniel Jones on Twitter claims to have completed a solar-powered off-grid crypto transaction using shortwave radio and blockchain. The Next Web reports Tuesday, September 18th.
Oh, man.
The project was reportedly devised in response to the Call for Code challenge, which challenges tech innovators to improvise with existing tools in order to find relief solutions for natural disasters. What did Daniel Jones do here? This is a huge story, people.
Well, there is a open source blockchain network, Burst, and basically using just a portable hard drive, a solar battery pack, and a shortwave radio, he was able to broadcast a Burst transaction. And if you haven't heard, there are these things called mesh networks, which are basically satellites that are on the ground, not in the sky, which you can create a network off of without internet access, so to say. And for those of you who are like me, who plan on moving off the grid one day and not being found for a while, just want to live in peace, this is great because a lot of people who are operating in the Bitcoin space are new. So all they know is, well, you got to be connected to internet or Wi-Fi and then it works. People like myself have explored all of the technology like NFC, near field communication, or Bluetooth. Also mesh networks and off-the-grid transactions will become a thing simply because there are people who want to be able to broadcast transactions, prove, or like they say, a proof of life, prove that they're alive or prove that they're somewhere, but they don't want to give away their location, which is perfectly fine. There are people, like I said, permissionless, and you want to be, if it's global, if it's truly global and permissionless and trustless, you don't need to know where I live. You don't need to, you know what I mean? Like I want to be, at some point I'm trying to be the Black Cliff High, so I could be out in the woods and doing videos out my van and be the old weird guy. But right now, this is just one step closer, and this is good for people being able to transact across the world without having to give away your location. So good to see there. Shout out to him. He does use a pseudonym, Daniel Jones. So We don't know who it really is. However, I will be looking into this deeper, and you can as well. So
nice. There we go. Also want to go ahead and, as Jones said on this article, or as he stated when they, I guess, got the interview from him, he emphasized the use of amateur radio requires a license from the FCC, and developer chose not to disclose the license operator that enabled the experiment. Again, here's the crazy part about it, and it's good as people like Bitcoin Zay, looking at NFC and mesh technologies and all that, because why does amateur radio require a license? It doesn't. It requires a license so they can know who you are and where you're beaming that signal from.
Exactly.
So again, it's one of those things where it actually doesn't require a license. You could do it on your own. However, they want to trick your mind into believing, well, it's illegal if you don't have a license. And the reason why is because they want to know who you are doing this. You're not allowed to communicate with other people without our permission. While one of these big companies getting your money and the government knowing to whom you're communicating with. So it's one of those things, again, everything's being overregulated, including things you wouldn't even think of like this. So that's pretty good. Yes, smash those likes and share, people. What you say?
I was like, even a shortwave radio, you got to register.
How crazy is that? That requires I didn't even know that myself. That requires a license.
Oh, man.
I know people who can jerry rig one up right now in the next 10 minutes. Like we talking about. Yeah. All these military dudes running around.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to get a license for it. Come on, man. Get out of here, FCC.
That is ridiculous. All right, so that's all we have for you today for the free Satoshis. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. So our question for today is, in light of the recent report about the exchanges, do you think exchanges should continue proprietary trades, or do you think they should, change how they're doing or the way they're doing business and stop altogether? Which way do you think it should go? Simply because we have one side who says, well, we have to keep it going to keep the volume up. And then one side said, well, let's clear out all the fake volume and prove that we actually have real trading and retail traders. Let us know what you think. Put your public address, and we'll give those free Satoshis.
All right. Thank you for everybody joining us. Make sure you smash those likes and shares. Again, if you listen to us on our podcast, thank you. Those downloads have been increasing literally every day we see them. And if you're interested in going to Real CryptoCon, again, we have that referral code in the notes as well as above our video right now, KBRE 250, which is $250 off the ticket. It's going to be packed full of folks. So if you have the time and you have a little spare change, it's a bear market, it would be great for you all to join. It'll be tons of people in the cryptocurrency industry as well as all the influencers as well, and they're talking and having a little meetup. So it'll be pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. Other than that, you all have a great day. Happy hump day. And we will see you all tomorrow at 10-ish.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good one.